I'm speechless, man. I am speechless. I really am. I know this might not hold a lot of weight considering that I've said that at least 4 episodes in this season might be the best episode of the entire season. What can I say? They keep really pushing the envelope and they keep surpassing themselves and keep making great episodes. But what I just witnessed, not even 30 minutes ago, may be the best episode in the entire franchise. It's tough because the only episode I really have in contention with that right now is the first episode of season 1. That's one of my favorite anime episodes of all time. But in terms of sheer craft, proficiency, emotional stakes, narrative stakes, I don't know, man. This episode makes a very solid case for being the best episode in the series so far. Maybe that'll wear off in time, maybe it will get better in time, but all I can say right now is that I absolutely adored everything about this week's episode. Hello everybody, I am Phenom Sage, and welcome back to another Made in Abyss Season 2, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun episode review. Today we will be talking about Episode 10, All That You Gather. And there's a few things that I really want to dive into about this week's episode, but if you know who I am, if you know the kind of person that I am and what I love most in anime and in animation, then you know for a fact that I cannot start this review any other way than talking about the production and the direction. A couple months ago, in my episode 2 review of Made in Abyss Season 2, the opening for the season had been unveiled, it was amazing, and I briefly talked about the mastermind behind that opening, Takushi Koide. And it really doesn't need to be said by now that that opening is absolutely fantastic. It just shows this masterful understanding of the arc it's adapting. It literally covers for some of the weaknesses in the story by giving us a bit more depth and characterization for the squad and how they lived down here before everything started going wrong. The final few shots of Riko and Liza and the way the song crescendos at that moment, it makes me tear up every single time. It's just a wonderful, beautiful, visually stunning opening that blew me away when I watched it the first time. And when I watched it, I knew that I had to give credit to Takushi Koide because of what he gave us and what he delivered with that opening. And the reason I bring all of this up now is because that same man, Takushi Koide, is the one who directed and storyboarded this week's episode of Made in Abyss. And these are just the kinds of things where even if you don't care at all about production, even if you don't know what an episode director is or what a storyboard artist is, even if you don't know a single thing about what any of these things are, these are the kinds of episodes where even without that knowledge, even a normal person watches this episode and can feel the difference. In this episode, there is such a strong understanding of the emotional weight that things in this episode carry. I cried multiple times watching this episode just because of what was happening in the story and, more importantly, how it was being presented and executed on. And that's something that I don't think that this season has always been great with. The most obvious example for me are parts of the flashback where these really big, climactic, important things are happening. I know the things that I should be feeling while watching those flashback scenes, and yet there's something about the execution in some of those scenes, whether it's the direction or the visuals or the music choices, where it's just not landing the same way that it's supposed to. And that's something that this episode just doesn't suffer from at all. Throughout what we see here in this episode, there's these beautiful, stark transitions between Reg and Faputa's battle in the present time, and Reg finally remembering his first meeting with her and all of the things that he said to her in the past. And much like the Vueko flashback a couple episodes ago, this kind of storytelling had the potential to fall flat due to its lack of screen time and being able to flesh everything out. Much more so in this case even, since the flashback we see here really ultimately boils down to like 3 scenes between them that are meant to convey the entirety of how they grew close to each other and Reg's ultimate promise and resolution. And yet, despite that concern, despite that lack of screen time that seemingly should have been an issue, The way that it's blended in here, the way that it's punctuating the battle at every turn, the incredible artistic decisions and transitions made to meld these two things into one continuous sequence, it just lands so well in every conceivable way by the end of this encounter. The iron rain falling upon the village, the glorious Penkin soundtrack playing in the background when Reg remembers that he told Faputa that he wants her to join them on their journey when he returns. All of that climaxes, and I shed a tear, my dudes. I can't lie, it was that goddamn good. And it really reminds me how much I love how so many arcs and climaxes in this series really come down to Reg's character and how kind he is down to his core. It's a trait that I think easily makes him the most likable character in the cast, and you can tell that Akihito really keeps unraveling what his kindness and his purity actually mean to the story and the characters around him. I seriously cannot stress enough how great all of the artistic decisions were in this episode, how well the episode flowed. I really don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to craft and storyboard a fight like this and a sequence like this and have it flow so effortlessly, but it just does, man. It feels so impactful and so well crafted. All I can say is well done to the team, well done to Takashi Koide, and if you're a fan of the craft and expertise seen in this week's episode, I strongly recommend again, just like I recommended in episode 2 when I was mentioning the opening, I recommend again watching Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight and the movie, which he played a huge role in the direction and creation of, if you want to enjoy maximum cinema of this caliber. However, even from last episode, I knew that the confrontation between Reg and Faputa was going to be legendary. This is the climax of the season, and it really feels as important and grand as it should. But what I wasn't expecting to land nearly as hard as it did was the scene with Nanachi and Midi. Last episode, I mentioned how this really was the weak link of the entire season. This plotline with Nanachi and Midi really does just feel like it was tossed in here for the sake of getting Nanachi out of the plot for a while so that we could focus on Reg and Riko. And I still feel that way. In fact, I feel that way even more strongly now after this episode, since this whole plotline ended completely pointlessly with Belaf just saying, it looks like Faputa's broken in, I'm just gonna let you go now. But even despite all of that, you would think that complaints like that would be fatal to this episode and to the storyline, and it's not like I'm suddenly saying that this plotline is good or fitting to the arc, but in the context of this episode and the way that it brings you into this story, it worked beautifully. Again, this is called having an understanding of the story that you are adapting and making sure that you elevate and complement everything that's going on with your own work. I legitimately ended up shedding another tear just in the beginning of this episode with this scene, just because of how wonderfully it was constructed. Nanachi's voice actress, absolutely incredible, and just these overall themes and messages about letting go and moving on, something that again complements what's going on in the other part of this episode as well. I can't speak enough praises about how this episode is constructed. It takes things that I'm not even a fan of and makes me cry over them. However, I think we've spent enough time gushing about the production and the direction. I have adequately fellatioed Takashi Koide and the rest of the production team, and now I want to get on to theory crafting and lore building this episode. With the flashback between Reg and Faputa, we finally get our look at who Reg actually was before he met Riko on the surface. We kind of get a clearer picture of what his situation was beforehand and what his overall purpose is in this entire story. Critically, we hear Faputa and her robot Gabu talk about Reg's tribe of people who occasionally pass through this layer, and we get a little more detail on who these people actually are. Faputa even says that they're terrifying, which I find really interesting considering how different Reg must be from them for her to say that. But more interesting than that is Faputa talks about how they carry around these stone people, the same term that she uses to describe Prushka, a life reverberating stone. Now, before we get into what I think that means, because I do think that that will be very important to the future of the story, I actually want to talk first about this weird distance that appears to be between Reg and the interference unit Gabu, because I've always been under the assumption that the interference units and Reg were of the same feather, that they may not exactly have the same designs, but that they were created by the same people. However, after watching this episode, I'm starting to develop a new theory. I think the tribe that Reg belongs to, these mixes of robots and humans, are the ones that created the interference units, and I think, if I'm right, that they use the life reverberating stones to do that. Gabu talks about Reg in a way that indicates that they don't share much of a connection, at least not one that he's aware of. In fact, he talks about the tribe as a whole as if he doesn't have a connection to them as well, which honestly does poke some holes in my theory, but even regarding that, I really feel like there's something here with why Reg's helmet is the same design as the interference units and what these people are doing with these reverberating stones. In this conversation, we also learn about Reg's mentor, or master, who I think we can all safely assume is in fact Liza. Now, it is possible that he's referring to somebody else here, but let's be real, it just makes way more sense narratively for it to be Liza. We've already seen the two of them talking and meeting together in the series before. It explains why Reg would even have the name Reg to begin with, this name of a dog that Rico named on the surface, and most importantly, it connects the dots to why Reg went up to the surface. Liza asked him to do something that led him to Orth and to the surface of the abyss, and your guess is as good as mine for what that purpose was, but if I had to throw some wild theory out there that's probably very wrong, I would maybe guess that it has to do with the 2,000-year cycle of the abyss. Something is going to happen in the abyss and on the surface of the abyss, and Liza probably sent Reg up to the surface to bring Rico down, or at least to protect Rico in some way. Now, to bring Rico down, that does kind of contradict what Liza was saying about Rico making her own choice to dive, so maybe that isn't the case there, maybe I'm off the mark, but I can't really think of what else Liza would send Reg up there to do, other than, again, maybe just this blanket general goal of protecting Rico no matter what happens. I guess we'll find out in the future, probably not in this season though, probably we'll have to wait a few years before we get all of those answers, and it certainly wouldn't be the first time that I have been wrong about a theory, since there's a correction about the village that I realized this episode that I wanted to mention. Last episode, I was under the assumption that the field that was stopping Faputa from entering the village was the same field that was stopping the villagers from leaving the village. I even wondered last episode, what was Wazukiyan trying to ask and manipulate Reg and Rico into doing if Reg was already planning on destroying the field to open the village anyways? However, in this episode, that doesn't actually seem to be the case. In the scene with Nanachi, Belaf says that everything created in this village cannot survive outside of the village. Tragically, we see Miri and all of the failed creations of Belaf disintegrating into nothingness. So I think there's a separate thing at work unrelated to the field that was keeping Faputa out that will not let these villagers leave the village. And I think what Wazukiyan wants to happen by the end of all this is for Rico to make the wish that all of the villagers can leave and continue their journey into the abyss. Now, I don't know how Rico is going to get her hands on those Cradles of Desire, maybe Faputa will agree to it in the end of all this, but all of that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking of in last week's episode. Overall though, do I really need to even say it? Incredible, masterful, wonderful, spectacular, any number of words that you can think of, this episode of Made in Abyss delivered. Quite possibly the best in the franchise, and on a more specific note, this is the first episode of Season 2 where I really felt like the soundtrack, and just the way that the soundtrack was used in this week's story, managed to reach some of the same heights that Season 1 did. It was just truly magnificent. I can't wait to see what other people think of this episode. I hope you all loved it as much as I did. Let me know in the comments below, or join the Discord server in the description to chat with me more directly about all of the ways that this week's episode truly surpassed expectations. Thank you all for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.